we start, I would like to thank all of the patrons that support us every month, which help us keep creating new and exciting visuals for you. And if you find value in this video or just want to get dozens of unique touch designer projects, please consider supporting us on Patreon. I will leave the link below, and without further ado, let's start with the tutorial. So let's start. In this tutorial we're gonna create a sphere sub, and we're gonna attach a line material, and we're gonna be playing with the width of the line material. So let us start. So first I'm gonna create here a sphere sub. I'm gonna attach here a null. I'm gonna convert it to chops because we want to later add another attribute to this. I'm gonna create here another null, and then I'm gonna go back to subs. We see that now it looks a little weird, but as soon as we connect the previous sub, now it looks again normal. And now I'm gonna attach here a geometry, and I'm gonna apply the line material. So as soon as we apply the line material, we see that we have a grid sorry, like kind of a grid on the surface, but we want actually the rows. So in order to do this, we need to go to the original sphere, and in the connectivity I'm going to click rows, and then on the primitive type I'm going to click NURBS. Okay, so now we see that we have our sphere how we want it. And now we want to add a width attribute to this, so we can independently play with this, with the thickness of these lines. So in order to do this, I want to do this in tops, so we can also use a noise top. And right now important is that we want a texture that is from the same amount, I mean the length, the width is going to be the same as the amount of samples here. So right now here it is 820 samples. So let us first create a constant so we can play around with this. And on the resolution I want to have something dynamic, so I'm gonna refer to this chop, and I'm gonna refer to the amount of samples. So OP for operator, then quotes sub to 1, then dot num samples, and then by 1. And right now if I attach here a null, and then I go back to the chops, now we actually only need one channel, which is the red, or we can choose whatever is monochrome, and we're gonna call this width. Okay, so now I'm gonna first move this a little bit, and then I'm gonna attach here a merge, and then I'm gonna merge these channels here. Now on the chop tool, we're gonna type here width, and then on the attribute scope we're also gonna type here width. And as soon as we do this, the sphere disappears. So now what we need to do is to actually convert this from NURBS to polygon. Okay, so right now after this I'm going to create a convert, and then from here I'm gonna say connectivity to rows, and then yes, that's what we wanted. We can also increase right now here in the detail the rows or the columns. I'm gonna go with 100 columns and maybe 20 rows. Great, so we have like smooth circles. Great, so now what we can do is that with this constant, now we can control actually the width. So if we go here, thinner, And you see that if I increase here, it doesn't get thicker. And the reason is because by default, this is 8-bit float fixed. So what we need to do is go here to common and go to 32 RGBA. And now if you get thicker, it goes thicker. Okay, so this constant was just to actually to check if this was working. But what we want is actually to use a noise stop. And what we can do is actually on the resolution, we can actually copy this expression. And now we have here this, and we got here 1. So now, if I put it here, now we have here the noise is applied to the width, so we can start playing around with the noise. So I want to go higher with the exponent, then start playing with the amplitude, and like I said, you can start playing with different parameters to achieve some kind of look. But what I wanted is just to create like kind of this kind of look. Like there is some rings visible, some others are not. And of course, right now here, if we animate it, ups time seconds times 0.3, now we got this thing going, which is kind of cool. We can also increase a little bit the amplitude, so we got the thicker rings. And of course, we still we can do other stuff. So right now, on the scene that I had in mind, I want to have this on the middle, and on the sides, I want to have also 2 spheres with the same technique, but a little twisted. So what I want to do right now is I want to actually copy first collapse selected this. So I'm gonna collapse selected this, and I'm gonna call this deformation, and then I'm gonna copy this guy, and I'm gonna also duplicate this geo. So right now we have exactly the same, but if I insert before here a transform and move it a little bit, now we have a second sphere. So what I wanted to do with this is to actually apply a twist. We can check how the twists look before or after it. So right now here, if I increase the twist, now we see we got this kind of curvy lines, which they also look kind of nice. And I actually wanted to have the same shape on the other side, so we can also do this after the render. So we have like a kind of symmetry with this sphere and the other sphere, and something in the middle. Okay, so right now I think we're ready for the render. So right now we need here a camera. We don't need any lights because we're using the line material, and right now we use the render. Okay, so let me go here this to the top viewer. Let me attach here a node at the end. Put this here, viewer active, and then an RGB key to make it black. Great. So we can also go here a little further, and right now the color went a little gray, and that's because in the line material, in the far color, we also have this gray, but you can here play around with this. All right, and then I mean, of course, we can play with the camera to look at from other angles, but what I wanted to do is actually just play around with the rotation of the sphere. I mean, if we go here into those, to let's say rotate here, we can see that we can rotate this, and we can rotate this. So what I want to do now is first I want to duplicate this here on the other side. I mean, we can do it on the geo or on the tops. Maybe I'm just gonna go with the geo version, just duplicate this and then move this here to the other side, so something like this. Great. So now I have here these lines, and right now they are both moving with the absent.seconds, but right now I want to make this audio reactive as well as the rotations. So for this, what I want to do is first drag and drop the song I want to make it auto reactive with. So then I want to use the audio analysis from the palette. So here, and then I'm gonna here touch here a no. So right now the low is it's not smooth. So of course I'm gonna also activate the kick, and here we can also play with how smooth it is. So maybe that's looking better. Maybe we can still listen to the song. If we go here, audio device out. I think it's okay. And now what we can use this for is actually I only want to use the low one, and with the low one I want to create first I'm gonna use a select, gonna use the low, then I'm gonna use a math because I want to multiply this signal later, and then I'm gonna use here the speed. So for the speed, this is just going to move a little faster when this is higher and slower when this is higher. So I want to actually just move the lines with this. So let me also get here a no. So inside this deformation there is this noise, which is actually being activated with this. So I'm actually gonna split the screen top to bottom, and then here I'm going to go out, and I'm going to apply this instead of the absent seconds, this. Great. And I'm going to actually do the same for the other one. So here in this one, transform. Great. So now we have that when the music is when the kick is hitting, or when the lows are there, this starts to move. Right now it stopped because maybe the song is just not outputting any low values. So that's why also one handy trick is like we can also put in the math in the let's say pre-add. We're gonna add 0.2, or maybe that's too much, 0.1. So it's always kind of moving, even though when the music is lower, then nothing is moving. But now if we listen, so all right, so that's one thing. I'm also gonna close this. Great. So, and now I want actually the movement of the spheres to actually be also with this rotation. So right now I'm actually just gonna duplicate this, because we may want like different values. So let's start to put this here, let's say here on the rotation X. So right now it's moving way too slow, so maybe we need to be 100, and then we start to see that this starts moving. And now we can also put this here into the other axis, then multiply this by 3, so it's a little different. And then we can do the same here, but let's say by 2.4. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same for the other ones. Maybe we can just change the other values. So I'm actually just gonna get this rotate, then put it here, expression. And right now the thing is that this is rotating in the around 0, 0, and we actually translated this and minus 3.2. So we actually need to here to put the same 3.2. So now it's rotating along its way. All right. So right now we can change this here a little bit so it's not the same. So here maybe it's 1.6, and then here is instead of 3, I'm gonna go 2.7, and then here 1.4. So the rotation is a little different, and then we're gonna do the same thing for the other geo. So I'm gonna just come to this rotate, find the expression, and of course we have here the same problem. And this time we actually move this 6.5 on the right, so it's actually minus 3.2 plus 6.5. And we might need to actually let's just go this here by 0, and let's go this here by 3.2, and let's just translate this here by 6.5. Transform here 6.5, and then here this 6.5, sorry. Minus 3.2, sorry. Because this 3.2 is coming from here, and then the rotation is going from there. I'm sorry. But okay, now we have the 3 spheres. Great. And we can of course here change a little bit so it's not exactly the same. So here we can put here 2, here we can put here 1, and then here we can put here 1.1. Great. So now we have these 3 bolts, and we can add a little post-processing. We can add here a bloom, which is always nice. So let me make this here a little bigger. So for the bloom, I want no ramp, and the threshold a little lower, and a little intensity. And I also have here a glow component that might look good. So yes, it makes a little glowing, and this glow component is just 3 blurs composite together, and then our composite with this. The first composite is screen, and the second one is average, and this blur are 16.7, 8.7, 4.7. Okay, so that's basically the tutorial. I mean, if we listen to a little bit. So yes, so this is this was a tutorial. I hope you learned something out of it. I hope you like it, and if you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to our Patreon and subscribing to this channel. And thank you so much for watching, and we see us on the next tutorial. Bye bye.